Hi guys, you're welcome to Halogenous Ideas. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create a real-time chat app using Django and React. I built something similar in the past. I did a tutorial about it on this same channel, and this is the tutorial over here where I built a chat app using Django channels and WebSocket alone. I didn't combine with React. So it would be nice if you can take a stroll through this particular tutorial, then you come back to this. But it's not, it's totally optional. So this is I created a readme file to make it easier for us to traverse this tutorial. um, and the prerequisite of the tutorial is Python and Django. You need Node.js and npm, with which you are going to be installing Vite. So Vite is a special type of React that we're going to be using in this tutorial. I chose Vite because it's optimized, it is faster and all that. It has a lot of rich features that native React doesn't have. The same code base, the same everything. So don't worry, let's just follow along. Then we are going to be using Redis. So Redis is the message broker that we're going to be using. Redis is what is going to be broadcasting the messages from one particular chat room to the other chat room. That is what Redis is going to be doing for us. Then virtual env. I recommend using virtual environment for your Python project. I highly recommend it. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be using virtual env as well. On your end, if you don't want to use the virtual environment, it is totally fine. But because of the Daphne server that we're going to be using, I would highly recommend that you use the virtual environment. You can just look through the channel for a tutorial I did on virtual environments to be able to create one for yourself if you don't know how to. So by the time you're watching this tutorial, the link to this particular video is going to be somewhere around here. Before we go further, I want to show you how the app is going to function. The app we want to build just now, how is it going to be working? So I'm going to be, this is my terminal over here. So basically this is what the backend, and this is the front end console. So for the backend, just Python manage.py, then run server. This is going to be running a server, both the ASGI and the Daphne controlled server. The ASGI will respond to the HTTPS requests, while the Daphne is going to be handling the WebSocket connection, which handles the real-time communication itself. So just npm run dev for the front end, and you can see what we have over here. So I'm going to be copying this link and I will open it in three different browsers. Okay, copy link, open this. Let me bring this one out, make it a bit smaller so I'll be able to show you how this works in real time. So I have this other web browser over here. Let me bring this here. Then I have Firefox. So just I want to show you that this works actually in real time, the app that we are about to build. So I'm going to be, no, cancel for now. So this and this, then also I'm going to be pasting it here. So I'm going to be using, this is what the front end is going to look like. I'm not particular about the front end, please. So I'm going to be using three different usernames to log in to a single room. So let's say we have a room science. So let's say science. Okay. So let's also say science. Then we also have another room science. Okay. So three different users. I can say Liberty. Then I can say Blossom. Then Henry. Okay. So join the room. You can see welcome Liberty, and the name of the room is what? Science. So Blossom is joining the same science room, and Henry as well is joining the same science room. So I can say, hi, this is Liberty from the science room. Okay. If I should run, you can see both of them, they got the message in real time, and it shows that over here Liberty sent this message. You can see the time both of them received it. It happened in real time, and if you check the console for for the backend, you can see this WebSocket connection. Okay, you can see the handshake. It shows that this WebSocket connection, it is it was connected successfully, basically. So this is Liberty sending a message. Hi, another message from Liberty. So if you come here, you see another message from Liberty. Now let another person send a message. Let's say um, Blossom wants to send a message. Hi, this is Blossom. You can see this person got the message. Liberty got the message. Henry as well got the message. Okay, and Henry can send a message. Hi, this is Henry. You can see Henry also wait, this is Henry's message over here. So let me make this one a bit smaller. So okay, so this is Henry. Now I can just say okay, we are all online. You can see in the case of Henry now, he scrolled to the end of this message box. Okay, let me come here, let me send a message over here. Blossom, yes, we are all live. So you can see on these two different screens, he scrolled. Okay, he was able to scroll to the end of this one to show that okay, this message, this is the latest message coming, so it will just scroll. So that functionality also, we are going to be implementing it. Now before we go into the app development itself, I want to show you that for you to be able to get a message in this particular room, you have to be logged into this particular room. So let me log Blossom, for example, to another room entirely. So let's say the username is Blossom, and I want to log Blossom into the arts room. So join room, you can see this is art, this is not science. So this is Blossom from the arts room. You can see they are not getting the messages because they are not in the art room. Okay, and if someone else here sends a message, Henry from the science room, you can see Liberty got the message because Liberty is in science room, but Blossom will not get the message because currently Blossom is in the art room. So peradventure, Henry wants to get a message from the art room. Henry will have to be logged into the art room. So come back here, and the username Henry, then the room is going to be art. If Henry should go in, you can see Henry got this message that was sent initially now, and you can see this message. If you come here, you can see API rooms at messages. Okay, the system will first of all fetch the existing messages in the system for this particular art room. Now Henry can send a message if he wants to. Hi, this is Henry from the art room. So you can see the person in the art room got the message, but this person in the science room did not get the message. Okay, so that is to tell you basically that this particular chat app is going to be having chat rooms. So for you to get a message in a particular room, you have to be logged into that particular room. Okay, so that is basically everything that is happening here. Liberty can come here to send a message. Hi, science room once again. Nobody will get this message out of these other two people. Why? They are not in the science room. So basically that is what is happening over here, and I can just come here and go back to the science room. Henry, no, Henry, I can decide to log in using another name, actually Moses. Then for the room science, then join the room. So you see all the messages in science room. Moses can now come and send his own messages. Hi, Moses from the science room. So everything is working fine. Everything here is working just as needed. So thank you very much. Now let's move into the development itself. The first thing we want to do is setting up the development environment. Okay, so you want to create the project directory, which is Django React Chat, whatever you want to use. It's totally fine, but I've done this step already. I've created my the folder over here, you can see Django React Chats. So I'm going to be opening this in terminal. So this is the terminal that is already opened in Django React Chats. So from here, now the first thing I want to do is to set up the backend. Okay, I'm also going to be setting up the front end. Don't forget, I said we are using Vite. So to set up the backend is very simple. Just run all these commands and you're good to go. So the first thing I want to do is to create a virtual environment, and the name of the virtual environment is DJ Chat. So I want to have this thing side by side. So if I paste this, no, 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 no. Okay, so very good. My okay, so my DJ chat is here. If you open it, you can see the virtual environment is active. Then the next thing I want to do is to cd into DJ chat. I think I made a mistake here, but it's not affecting it actually. So you can just so I've cd'd into DJ chat. If I check all the files, you can see bin lib, then this pyvenv file. If I open it, you can see the pyvenv file. So moving on, I have to activate the virtual environment, copy the whole of this and paste. Now my virtual environment is active. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to install all these packages. I'm going to be starting with Django, which is the native, the framework itself. Then we have the Django REST framework. Okay, Django REST framework is the framework that um, through which we're going to be creating APIs. Basically, that is what we are using Django REST framework for. Then we have Django course headers. Without Django course headers, you will not be able to communicate with your Django REST framework from external applications basically. So then we have the channels that is responsible for creating the WebSocket consumers and the ASGI part. Basically, the WebSocket part of this particular application, it is channels that is responsible for it. Okay. Now we also have the channel Redis, which is going to be standing as the intermediary between Django channels and Redis, which is our message broker. Then we have the Daphne server. It is the Daphne server that is going to be handling the routing that we have to do, the routing of particularly the WebSocket endpoint. It is the Daphne server that is going to be routing it. So copy the whole of this, then bring it to the terminal, then paste it. It will install everything inside our virtual environment. So just give it some time. Okay, so it's installing everything one after the other. It's installing everything one after the other. Just give it some time. Some of these packages are cached on my device, so that is the reason it is just opening it straight away. Just opening it straight away. Just give it some time and very good. So you can see all these packages are installed in my virtual environment. If I want to confirm that these packages are installed, just come here, come under library, Python 3.12, site packages, and you can see all these packages over here that are installed. You can see all the channels, course headers, all the packages have been installed. So let me come back to DJ chat, then come back to the guide that we are using. Now I have to create the Django project itself, and the name of the Django project is chat backend. Okay, copy this and come here. Let me clear my terminal. So clear my terminal, then chat backend. So if you come back here, you will see that the chat backend have been created. Okay, chat backend have been created. So the next thing I want to do, come back to the guide. I will cd into chat backend, copy. I'll just navigate into chat backend. Then the next thing I want to do is to create a Django app. I believe you know the difference between a Django project and a Django app. So that is what I want to do over here. You come here. Let me open this in code first. So Django React chat, then chat backend code. Okay, so this is opened in VS Code now. This is the VS Code. So if I open chat backend, you can see everything I have, but I have to create an app. So if I come here and come here, copy this, copy, come back here, paste it, so that I can create a Django app. Yes, trust. Yes. So you can see the Django app that I just created, which is chat. So that is it over there. And the backend is set. Basically the backend is set. We are still creating the virtual environment, so please. Um, now the next thing we want to do is to set up the front end, and like I said, we are going to be using Vite for the front end because Vite is fast. It has so many optimizations that have been done to it over the years. So instead of navigating, basically just navigate back to the folder where you have this Django React chat. If you come back here and this folder where you have Django React chat, you can see this is the particular folder for the backend. Okay, so come back to DJ chat, the Django React chat. Now if I come back here, I can just open another terminal. So in this particular terminal, for this terminal I'll be handling all my backend here. For this terminal I'll be handling all my front end. So what I want to do is to navigate back, then I'll navigate back again. So I'm in the Django React chat folder. So if I should list everything that I have, it will be giving me DJ chat. Okay, so which is exactly what we have over here. So now setting up the front end, I've done this one. I can just use npm create vite. So paste this. So just give it some time. Okay. Just yes. So you select the one that you want. I'm going to be using React. So React is the framework that I want to select. Then it's going to be asking me TypeScript or JavaScript. Just choose this JavaScript on. So you can see the app is installed. If you come back to um, the folder, you can see chat frontend. If you open it, you can see this is it over here. If you come under src, whatever you want to do, public, everything is here. So basically you just come to this place, clear the terminal, then cd no ls, you have chat frontend. So chat frontend, no, cd into the chat frontend. Then if you list out everything that we have, you can see exactly what we have inside this folder over here is what we have here. So now I can decide to code so that I can open that particular front end, the front end folder inside VS Code. So you can see the front end folder over here. Okay, yes, trust the. So I have these two VS Code opened. This one over here is going to be handling the backend, while this one is going to be handling the front end. Okay, so let me come back here. Go back to the guide. I've done this already. If you open, you see I've already navigated to the front end. Then I have to install all these packages. Okay, Axios, React Router DOM, SAS, and React use WebSockets. This is the package that we are going to be using to communicate with our Django backend for the WebSocket connections. Okay, so come here, copy the whole of this, and come back here, right click, and paste it. So these are all the packages that we're going to be using for the front end. So just give it some time to install those packages. Just give it some time. Let's give it some time. Well, while we are waiting for it to install those packages, let's just go to this particular one over here. So you can see the src folder. We are supposed to structure our src folder like this. Okay, we are going to be creating our we basically we delete the src folder, then we create all these directories and all these files over here. So that is basically what our front end is going to be for the src folder inside Vite. So okay, I think it is done installing the packages, no vulnerabilities. So I think we are good to go with that. So let's just set up our src folder. So come here to the front end. What I would do is that I will just for this src folder, I'll basically just delete it. Okay, so delete it, move to thrash, then come back here, create the folder src. Make sure the src folder is in the root directory where you have this vite configuration file. So for this src folder, if you come to the guide, I have components. So come here, components. Make sure component is inside the src folder. Then for the src folder again, I'm going to be having hooks. So come back here, I have components, I have hooks. Then I have app.js, app.scss, then main.jsx. So copy um, inside the src folder app.jsx, then app.scss, app.scss. Then we have main.jsx. So come here, main.jsx. Okay, so now that I have these three files, if I come back to the guide, I've created these three files. I've created components, I've created hooks. So now I will create use charts.js under hooks. So come open hooks, use charts.js, then come back here. For the component now, inside the component, I'll have to create chat room and join room. Okay, this chat room will be responsible for the chatting room itself, but join room is where you're going to be logging in to the chat room using a username and the name of the room that you want to chat in. So come here, open a chat room under component. So you click on this component, a folder, chat room, then also you create another folder which is join room. Please make sure that you are doing this meticulously. So you also have join room. So under chat room, we are going to be having chatroom.jsx and chatroom.scss. So basically the SCSS is for the styling. Um, so chatroom, so chatroom.jsx, then chatroom.scss. Okay. So for the last one, which is the join room, we're going to be having joinroom.jsx, joinroom.jsx. Then we're also going to be having joinroom.scss. Very good. So come back to the guide. Okay, I think we are done with setting up the development environment. We are done with setting up the development environment. Now, let's start to work on the backend. So for now, just come to the backend over here. Now, the first thing that we want to do in creating this backend is basically to check our installed apps. Now, these installed apps, you're going to be adding Daphne as the first app over here. Please make sure that you add Daphne as the first application here. Then you have other applications. So copy, you come under settings, then your installed apps under settings. Make sure Daphne is the first app that you have here. Then the next thing you want to do, you can come to add all these other apps. This is an error over here in this document because there's no users app, so just leave that one out. Hopefully I would have corrected it by the time you are looking at this particular file, readme file. So come here. REST framework is the framework that what we are going to be using to create the API. Course headers is what we are going to be using to expose our Django backend to external applications. securely actually. So then we have the channels that is responsible for the WebSocket part of the backend. Then chat is this new app that we created. So the next thing that we want to do is to add course headers middleware. Okay, course headers middleware. We need to add it after the sessions middleware. Okay, so come here after the sessions middleware. That's where you're going to be adding the course header middleware. So the next thing we want to do is to course allow all origin true, and the ASGI application course allow all origin. Okay, let me just put it here. So course allow all origin true. This ASGI application, I don't think by default we have any other variable like that. So we just leave this. So this ASGI application basically is going to be holding chat backend.asgi.application, and chat backend is this particular folder. Then asgi.application. If you open this asgi.py, you can see asgi.application. This application over here is what it is holding for now. We are going to make modifications to this asgi.py file so that it will be able to handle both HTTP requests and WebSocket connections. It is the WebSocket connection that is responsible for the real-time communication actually. So after that, the next thing that we want to do is to create this variable called channel layers. So like I said initially, this particular application, we are going to be using Redis. Okay, Redis is what you're going to be using to as our message broker basically. Redis is what is going to be responsible for receiving the message, and it will send everything out. That is what Redis is going to be doing. So backend, just make sure Redis is installed on your device, be it for Windows or for Windows or Linux. Just make sure Redis is installed on your device. Then you start the server before you start your Django server. So that is it basically. Okay, so moving on, if you come back here, it's saying static URL. I don't think we have to do anything with that. Static URL, you can see it here already, but I don't think we need that actually. So moving on, we have to create our models. Now, just copy the whole of this and come to under chat, come to models.py. Now, what is happening here? We are going to be having two models. The first model is the room, the second model is the message. Okay, the room has a name, and when you want to save the name of a room, you save the name of the room in lowercase. So this is just a precaution to ensure that if somebody wants to type the name of a room, for example, and they type something like maybe they want to enter a room, say soccer, and instead of soccer then I typed SOCCER. Okay, you know that these two basically according to Python they are different strings. So if we save it in lowercase, everything comes down to soccer. So that way you know that you are safe whichever way the user chooses to type the name of the room. Okay, so and the string representation is basically just the name of the room. Now for the message, each message that you're going to be sending has a room where the message was sent. Okay, that is the reason why I'm having room over here as a foreign key, and the related name is just messages. Now we have username. Every message we have a user that sent it. So this username is going to be keeping track of the person that sent the message. Now the content is going to be the message that was sent, the message itself. Then we have the timestamp that is going to be the date time when the message was sent. Okay, and it is just auto add. Now when you send a message immediately, Django will keep track of that particular time when the message was sent. Then you can see the meta, the ordering of these particular messages is based on the time stamp. Okay, I believe you understand everything that is happening here. Then come back to the guide. Let's just make our migrations, then we migrate. So if you come to this place, to the backend part, so Python manage.py, make migrations. Okay, Python manage.py migrate. Okay, so all these are the initial migrations that you're going to be getting before it actually migrates for this one. So let me just clear my terminal. So I've made all my migrations. So these particular models have been registered in the database. The next thing I want to do is to create serializers. Okay, is to create serializers. I believe you know what serializers are used for. So, and the serializers is going to be creating in chat slash serializers. So chat slash serializers.py is going to be in this chat folder in the chat app. So create a file named serializers.py, and in the serializers.py just copy the whole of this and bring it into serializers.py. What is happening here? So serializers.py, I'm importing serializers from the REST framework. So I brought in from models, I brought in room and messages. So I have the room serializer and the message serializer. Now for this room serializer, the model is room, and the fields of interest is just ID and name. Okay, the fields of interest is just ID and name. I think I have a VS Code extension that can open this. Okay, I've not installed it, so I would have been able to show you, but just take that one out for now. So the immediately we created these models, it will automatically create an ID field for room. Even though we didn't add ID over here, it will create an ID field for room. It will also create an ID field for message, apart from all these other fields that we have. So under serializers, the fields of interest for the room serializer is ID and name. But under message serializer, the fields of interest is the room name. Now this room name is going to be coming from, if you come to the models for the message serializer, we have this variable over here that we call room. Okay, and this room is going to be returning this particular object over here, and the field of interest inside room is just the name. That is why in the serializers I'm having serializer.character field, the source is going to be room.name. Okay, and read only true. So the fields of interest under message serializer, we have the ID, the username, the content, timestamp, and the room name. Okay, if you come under models, what we have is room, but in the serializer, what we have is the room name, and the room name is basically a character field, and the source of the data that will be populated here is the room variable over here. Then since it's a foreign key coming from room, the name of the room. Okay, I believe you understand what is happening here. So come back to the guide, come under views.py. So let me copy the whole of this, then you come under views.py, paste this over here. So this is a very simple, these are two simple views over here. We have a list create view, two list create views rather. So um, serializers.py from dot models. Okay, so um, for these two, I'm having the room list and the message list, and the query set is room.object.all. Then the serializer class, this is the serializer class over here. So if you open the serializers, you can see the room serializer and the message serializer. So come under views.py, so dot serializers. I don't know, it's supposed to be highlighted. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be highlighted. Serializers.py. Come back here. I'll just continue with that. So save. Okay, moving on. The serializer class is going to be this message serializer for the message list. Okay, for the message list, this message serializer over here. So for the query set, we are going to be having for this particular message list, the user is going to be supplying the room name from the API. Now, when the room name gets here, it will extract the data and convert it to lowercase. Let's not forget. So in the room, it will try to find that room, the room with the name that is being sent over the API. If it cannot find a room with that particular name, it will create it automatically. Okay, but if it can find a room, it will just extract that particular room, then filter all the messages in the database by that room. Okay, that is what is happening over here for this message list. Then moving on, we are going to be having this urls.py. Let me copy the whole of this. So come under views, just urls.py, open, paste this. So everything that is happening here from dot import views, let me see if from dot import serializers. um okay, let me just leave that one out for now. Okay, so from dot import views, so this views is coming from here. Okay, so views dot rooms list, you can see the room list over here, then urls views dot message list. Okay, so that is it for the urls. These are the only two urls that we're going to be having, just the rooms. Then the room, you supply the name of the room slash messages, it will return all the messages that are supposedly sent to that particular room. Now, the next thing that we want to do is to hook these particular URLs into the chat backend URL, which is the URL for the project itself. So if you come under this urls.py, path comma include, then come here, path, so api slash, then you include chat.urls. Okay, so you save that and you are good to go. That is exactly what is in this place. Include chat.urls. Now, all these other ones that we have been doing, since everything we have been doing so far for the backend, we are just handling. We are creating the setup for HTTP requests. Okay, for HTTP, regular HTTP requests. Now let us go and work on the WebSocket connection now, which is exactly what is handling the real-time communication across board. So for the WebSocket connection, the same way you have views, the same way you have views for regular HTTP requests, for WebSocket connections, you're going to be having consumers. Okay, you're going to be having consumers. So for this one over here, copy consumers.py, you come here and under your chat, you're going to be creating a file called consumers.py. Then you enter your consumers.py, copy this, and paste it here. Now, what is happening here? Please pay attention. I'm going to be importing JSON. This is the library you can use to convert a dictionary to JSON, or a JSON back to a dictionary to JavaScript object notation, or from JavaScript object notation you convert it back to a dictionary. Then we have the async WebSocket consumer, which is what we're going to be using. Then we have the database sync to async, which we are going to be using to save data to the database in real time. Okay, then we have our models that is going to be bringing in the room and the message objects, models rather. You can see the room and the message models, so consumers.py. Now the in consumers.py we are going to be creating a class, the class chat consumer, that is going to be inheriting from async WebSocket consumer. Then the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to be creating a connect method inside the async WebSocket consumer. Now, every time you want to connect, what is going to happen? So the user is going to be supplying a room name, okay, the room they want to connect to, and they are going to be supplying it through a particular link which you are going to configure very soon. So this is the room name. Okay, now for the what the user knows from the front end is a room name, but what the application itself knows, it's a room group name, which is what we have over here. Now basically await, get or create a room. If the room is in existence in our database, then just extract that particular room. Okay, get that particular room. But if that room is not in existence, now create the room. Okay, that is what get or create is going to be doing. And if you check get or create, this is it over here. So room.object get or create. Okay, so the name is going to be self.room name, self.room name. So this one over here ensures that the room have been created, or the room is in existence. That is what this is going to ensure. Okay, The next thing we're going to be doing is to add the room name that we have to the channel layer. Okay, we add the existing channel layer, we add the group. Okay, and we are going to be supplying the room group name, which is what we have over here, chat underscore whatever is the, this we can set it to whatever we want. I'm just the one that said okay, chat underscore whatever the user supplies as the name of the room they want to chat in, which by the virtue of this particular line of code over here, the room is in existence. Okay, if we cannot fetch that room, we create it. So we are going to be supplying the room group name, which is chat underscore whatsoever the user supplies as a room name, then self dot channel name. This channel name is created by the chat consumer, by the async WebSocket consumer automatically. Now under disconnect, we just discard the group that we just added to the channel layer. Okay, we just discard it. Now, when you receive a particular message, what happens? This backend now, let's say we have 10 people chatting at the same time. Okay, each of them, one person will send a message. Each of the remaining 9 persons will get the message, including beside the person that sent it. Okay, the message that I sent, the 10 of us will be getting it. So when we disconnect, basically, it will remove that particular group from the channel layer for only one person. For as many that are still connected, they will have theirs in the channel layer. Now, under receive, now we are trying to configure what happens when one person sends a message. Okay, when one person sends a message, the message gets into this particular method over here. Okay, then when it gets into the method, I'm going to be using json.loads to convert what the user have sent to a JavaScript dictionary. Okay, I'm going to be configuring the front end such that it is going to be sending a username, a message, and the name of the room where they want to send that message to. So I will get the room and I will create a message. Okay, so this self.getRoom, what does it do? If you come under this get room over here, basically it will return the room. Okay, it will just return that room, and the reason I'm supposed to put index it as the first element in the list is because this is going to return a list, and what I'm interested is just the first element in the list. That is why I'm doing this. Okay, so where is it? Self.getRoom. Very good. Now to create the message, I'll just say self.create message, and I'm going to be supplying the name of the room, the username, and the message. Okay, so um this is going to be okay. So you can see under create message over here, create message, you have messages, the object or create, the room equal to room, username equal to username, content equal to content. If you come under models.py, you will see I have to supply username, content, timestamp is automatically generated, then the room is going to be the name of the room where I want to send that message to, and this room over here is going to be an object. Okay, it's going to be the room object, the model itself. So after creating the message, what I want to do now is to group send, and I'm going to be sending the message to the room group name. Don't forget the room group name over here. So what I'm going to be sending, the type is going to be chat message. I'm going to be sending the username, the message, and the timestamp. So that created message, don't forget inside models, I said this timestamp is going to be automatically generated. So that timestamp over here, it will convert it to ISO format so that I can easily work with it in the front end. This will become clearer when we do the front end. I will start logging some of this data to the console. So just follow for now. Then we have the chat message, which is the type of the message that we want to send. Okay, now that chat message just self does send the text data that we want to send is just json dot dump. We are going to be sending JavaScript object notation, and this is the dictionary that contains the data. So basically, we convert it to JSON, then we send it out to all the groups. We are going to be sending the username of the person that sent the message, the content, which is the message the person sent, and the timestamp when the message was sent. Don't forget, like I said, the timestamp is automatically generated in the system. Then we have all these helper functions. For example, the database sync to async. It helps us ensure that this particular these actions are carried out in real time. Okay, in real time. So I think that will be all for the consumers.py file. The next thing we want to do is to come to the WebSocket routing. Okay, so just chat routing.py. Come here, come under chat, under this chat now. Create the file routing.py, then save this. So in dot consumers import chat consumer. Okay, the chat consumer is coming from this place. Okay, so very good. So I'm going to be displaying this chat consumer as ASGI. Okay, as ASGI. So I'm going to be editing this ASGI file in a minute. So for this routing now, basically this is going to be WebSockets slash chat slash the name of the room where the user wants to send messages, or where the user wants to receive messages. That is basically what is happening over here. So let me save this, and if you come to your views, no, urls.py, you will see rooms. This is going to be displaying as view, but in the case of the routing, I'm displaying as asgi, so please take note of that. So if you come back here now, the asgi configuration, please take note. I'll copy the whole of this and come to the asgi.py. I can just paste this over here. So I'm importing operating system. So I'm just saying operating system dot environ set default. So Django settings module, just chat backend dot settings. That is going to be the this file over here. Basically, is going to be the settings module. Then I'm importing get ASGI application. Okay. I'm also importing the protocol type router and the URL router. I'm importing the auth middleware stack. Then I'm also importing chat.routing. Chat.routing is this file over here, and I'm importing it into asgi.py. So initially, the application that we are having is just returning get ASGI application. Okay, that is if you are working with only HTTP endpoints. But in this case now, I'm going to be working with both HTTP and WebSocket endpoints. So I have to use the protocol type router to disseminate this traffic. So if traffic is launching HTTP request, it will return the ASGI application that we have natively. But if it's a WebSocket connection that we are trying to use to communicate, then it's going to be returning this auth middleware stack URL router, then chat dot routing dot the WebSocket URL patterns. If you come under routing, you can see the WebSocket URL patterns. So that is it basically. That is it basically. Then come to the last one. I think it's just one more that thing that we have to do. Okay, I think we are done with the backend then. I think we are done with the backend. So we've been able to carry out everything that is here for the backend. Just to be sure that the backend is working optimally, just come here and come to the terminal under this terminal over here. Um, I'm still in DJ chat backend ls. So cd chat backend ls. Okay, you can see this is the chat backend. Oh, so cd ls. Okay, very good. So I have manage.py. The folder where I have manage.py is where I'm going to be running my server from. So paste. Okay, I think everything is working fine. I don't have any errors. So, and please note, it is Daphne. I'm having ASGI slash Daphne. Please, ASGI slash Daphne. I'm using the Daphne server to create the routing for WebSocket connections. Please, you need to take note of that. But I've made a mistake actually. Clear. Now, before starting the Django server, I need to do something. Don't forget, under settings of py, if you come here, you will see that under channel layers, I'm having Redis channel layer. Okay, Redis channel layer. Now for this Redis channel layer, I need to start the Redis server on my device. So if you're on Windows or you are on Linux, just look for a way to start your Redis server. So that Redis server, I think I have it over here. Sudo snap start Redis. I installed my own Redis using snap. So copy come back here, paste it. Okay, very good. So my Redis server is I've started. So I can clear. So Python manage.py then run server. Okay, so you can see that I'm having ASGI slash Daphne. Okay, the development server. So basically, the backend is completed. The backend is completed. Now, let's go and work on the front end. For us to work on the front end, we still go back to this guide that is going to help us with everything that we have to do. So we've created our folder structure for the front end, the folder structure for the front end, this folder structure over here. So let's just go to populate all those files now. Where are you? Okay, so this is it. Now the first thing that we want to do, we want to set up the front end using Vite and React. So we use this to connect to the backend basically. Now if you come here, I think we are done with this one. Just come to the second one. Now I think it is this use chart that is the first file that we are going to be populating. So this custom hook that we are going to be creating use chart is going to be accepting a room name and a username. Okay, let me copy the whole of this and come here, use charts. So I'm going to be importing all this from React normally the way we would. Then I'm going to be using React use WebSockets. I think React has a native socket inbuilt function that you can use for this, but I would rather use React to use WebSockets because I trust this package to some extent. So I'm going to be creating a this particular component over here, which is the use chart, the hook. I'm going to be creating this use chart. Then it's going to be accepting a room name and a username. These are the variables that the state variables that we're going to be creating. I need one to keep track of the messages, the message being sent, if the system is loading, if I encountered any errors, and the end of the message. Because every time the user sends a message, I want it to scroll to the end of the page. Okay, every time the user sends a message, it should scroll to the end of the page. So basically, I'm going to be initializing use WebSockets now. And the way I'm going to be initializing it is I'm going to be saying WebSockets. You understand? For regular HTTP connections, if you come here, if you come under this link over here now, you can see I'm having HTTPS. Okay, but for our application, since we are not installing any SSL certificate, it's going to be HTTP. But in the case of this WebSocket connection now, I'm going to be having WebSocket, not HTTP. So localhost slash 8000 slash WebSocket slash chat slash the name of the room. Now, if you come to this backend over here, come under routing, you will see that that is exactly what we have. WebSocket slash chat slash the name of the room. So let's come back to the front end. WebSocket slash chat slash the name of the room, then this is the domain basically. So should he reconnect if he try connecting for the first time and he's not getting it? That is true. And the reconnect attempt is 10 total attempts. After 10 attempts, it will not make any attempts to reconnect again, and this is going to be reconnecting every 3 seconds. Okay, every 3 seconds. So when immediately you enter a room, it will try to go to the system and fetch the existing messages. Okay, messages that we have, that are the existing messages in that particular room, it will try to fetch them. That is what is happening over here. And if you come under views, no, under URLs, yes, you will see this particular endpoint over here, rooms slash the name of the room slash messages. Basically, I want to use this room to filter all the messages in the database. Okay, to filter all the messages in the database, then return those messages. But don't forget that under our models, the messages are going to be ordered based on timestamp. Okay, based on timestamp. So sorry, come back here. I'm going to the front end. Okay, so immediately it tries to fetch the data. It will data await response.json to ensure that it's actually getting the responses from the database. Then it will set the messages as these messages over here. Any message it gets from the database, it will just set it. is loading false. Okay, initially it's loading is going to be true. So if there is any error that it encounters, you will just see failed to load messages. Okay, and this it will just this fetch message over here is calling this function. This is the function definition. This is the function call. Room name basically, as the dependency of this use effect, is saying that if for one reason or the other this room name changes, run this particular function. Okay, if the room name changes, run this particular function. Then we have another use effect over here. Now when you send a message, okay, when you send a message to the database, when you send a message to the room, if the last message is not equal to null, const data equal to json.parse, that then the last message dot data. Okay, so just set messages, the initial message that you have, then you append the new message that is being sent. Every time the last message is changes, that is when this particular use effect is going to be running. Then this use effect over here just ensures that when another message is being sent, just scroll to the end of that particular chat box. I will demonstrate everything. Then send chat message is going to be using a callback. It will trim the message, then it will call this send message function. Okay, this send message function, and the send message function is what we have over here. So this send message is what you're going to be using to send message to the backend, while last message is what you're going to be receiving the last message that is being sent. The last message that is being sent can be sent by the current user or by any other user that is connected to that particular room. So that is basically it for this particular use chat um, hook over here. So moving on, we'll go to the join room component. Okay, this join room component is going to be very simple. The component that is going to be responsible for logging people into a chat room. So basically, the component is going to be accepting the name of the room and the username of the user that wants to log into that particular room. So join room.jsx, if you copy this and you come to join room.jsx, so just paste this over here. So this join room.scss, let me quickly get this style. This is the styling over here. So for that particular component .scss, so paste. So I'm not particular about the css for now, so I believe you can handle that. So for the join room, we have the username and the room that have been set. Then use navigate is coming from React Router DOM. So this is a function that handles the submit when you submit the form where you're going to be entering the username and the room name where you want to chat basically. So when you click on submit, if the username and the room name are valid data, it will navigate you to chat slash the name of the room. Okay, then it will send a state variable, which is the username, to that particular component. That is what is happening over here. This is this is fairly simple what is happening over here. Then that will be all for the join room uh, component. If you come here, everything that is happening here is basically you enter the username and the room name, then it will just route you to the room where you're that particular room, then it will load the messages and all that. So moving on, after join room, the next thing we want to do is to the chat room component. So for this chat room component, it is a bit complex, but we'll explain everything. For this chat room.jsx, paste this. So let me paste the styling as well so that I won't forget. So this is the styling over here. So this is the styling. Okay, this is the styling over here. So let me just save this, then close this. Okay, very good. So for this other one, what is happening? Um, if you come to join room, okay, this particular username over here, if you come under chat room, the first thing that is happening over here, use params, the room name. The room name is going to be extracting this value over here. It's going to be extracting this value over here. That is what this room name is extracting. Then for the state, it's going to be using use location to extract this data over here, this username over here. That is what is happening over here. So it will basically just take username. Now, if a username cannot be found, you're going to be chatting as anonymous. If you don't enter a username, you're going to be chatting as anonymous. But obviously, you have to enter a username because this ensures that the username and the room are two valid data. So I'm going to be bringing in this use chat. Yeah, this is use chat over here. Okay, I'm importing it in the chat room. So all this particular data, they are being exported from use chats. Then the handle submit as well. Every time there is a form with which you can send a message over here. Okay, where you're going to be typing your message. Immediately you click on that send button, it will trigger this one. It will send a chat message. Okay, and you can see the send a chat message over here. It is coming from use chat. So the chat message basically it will and you can see the message itself is coming from this message over here. Okay, it's coming from this message over here. So if you come under use chat, I believe that you can easily navigate your way around here. So this is the message that is being sent to the user, and send chat message basically it will trim the message to ensure that there are no white spaces at the beginning and at the end. Then it will just send that particular message. It will stringify it. It will send message username, and the room name is going to be room name. So that will be send message. Now this particular send message, it is coming from the WebSocket, this particular function over here. So come back here. This code over here is just responsible for displaying the message, ensuring that the messages that are not sent by the current user that is chatting is floated to the left, while the messages of the current user chatting is being floated to the right. That is what is happening over here. And it is going to be displaying the it's going to be displaying the username of the person chatting. Okay, that is if the messages that are sent by the current user, it is not going to be displaying the username for that one, but the messages from other users, it will display the name as uppercase. Okay, then the time that the messages was sent, it is going to be displaying it to local string. Okay, so I think there is another option for this one, which is to local time string or something, to local time string, which will display only time, but I want it to display both date and time for this particular one. That is what I'm having here. So the messages end ref, basically, like I said, if you come under use chat, every time a new message is sent, where is it, okay, very good. So every time a new message is sent, when messages are sent, basically, it will scroll the screen to the end of this particular box. That is what happens basically. So I will save this, then come back to my guide. This is the style. Now I will set up routing, and the routing is going to be in app.jsx. So copy the whole of this, come to app.jsx, app.jsx, paste it. Okay, save, then browser router, very good. So I'm going to be having only two routes, just this and chat the room name. So this is the endpoint that is going to be responsible for logging the user into a room, where the user will just enter a name, a username, and the room they want to enter, while the chat this endpoint over here is going to be the chat room itself. So come here, then um, the entry point for the application, which is main.jsx. Copy this one, come to main.jsx, and paste this one. So that is it basically, but just optionally we have to add this index.csx code .scss code, um, app.scss. So save this as well. So that is it basically. Then now we can start to run our code. The next thing we want to do now, if you come under node modules, you can see all these things that we have over here. All these things that we have over here. So we have all our dependencies installed. I don't think we have to do this. I don't think we have to do this. But just to be on the safe side, come to the front end. I don't think we have to do this, but just to be safe. Okay, so okay, added two packages. Well, no problem. So come back and npm run dev basically to start our front end server. Come back here, let me clear. Then so this is basically link the link to the front end application. So now we are done with the back end and we are also done with the front end. So how are we going to test the application now? We are going to be opening two different browsers. I have two browsers opened over here. So I will navigate to the link that will be given to me. I don't think this is supposed to be localhost 3000. If you come to, it is 5173. I think localhost 3000 is for normal React. So please take note of that. Whatever is the whatever is the localhost port that this console that this particular console is giving you, that is what you are going to be running in the two browsers. So you are going to be opening two windows, enter a username and the same room name. Okay, so I'll send a message here and I'll see if I'm going to be getting it in real time. Okay, so this is one room now. Come to this one, copy link. So this is Chrome. This is Chrome. Okay, index.css from, please let me just from src main.jsx main.jsx. This is not supposed to be here. This is not supposed to be here. Okay, very good, very good. I think something is wrong with the styling. Something is wrong with the styling, but please just take your eyes off that for now. So for the username, I'm going to be opening this inside another browser as well. Come here. Okay, you can see I have two different browsers now. So let me say I want to enter let me say Daniel. This Daniel wants to enter the soccer room. So join room. You can see room soccer, welcome Daniel, and you can see this one over here. Okay, so let me use this one. Let me say Chris, and this Chris is going to be entering the soccer room as well. So you can see this is the soccer room and this is also the soccer room. This is Daniel and this is Chris. So I can come here. Let me say I want to say hi. Okay, I'll send it. You can see hi over here. But if I should check the other side, you can see Chris hi. You can see the date time when the message was sent. Okay, this is sending in real time. This is sending in real time. Let me see if I can have this. Then let me bring this out. So I will have both of them side by side to show you that this works properly. So this is Chris, don't forget, and this is Daniel. So I can say hi Chris. Okay, run this. You can see this is Daniel sending a message. Okay, so how are you doing today? You can see, everything is working just fine. If you come back to the console, you can see this handshake. It shows that the WebSocket connection, everything is intact. So I can create another let me have another web browser where I have this one. For example, let me make it smaller and so in this one now I'm going to be having maybe um let me say Moses. Okay, Moses is going to be entering the soccer room as well. Moses is going to be entering the soccer room as well. So now you can see that Moses is getting the messages that every other person is sending. Okay, welcome Moses. So Moses can send a message. Let me let me bring this one here. Moses can send a message, for example, hi everyone, this is Moses. You can see everybody gets the message in real time, and it is Moses that sent the message. So you can see that everything is working fine. Now, before we go, let us test this thing. Let me say I enter another room entirely. Let's say um, Moses again. Okay, Moses. Then the name of the room that I want to enter. Let's say the room name is maybe basketball. So if I should join the basketball room, okay, and I send a message here, hi. You see, they will not get, these two people will not get the message because they are not in the basketball room. This is the soccer room, this is the soccer room, this is the basketball room. So for them to be able to receive messages in the basketball room, they need to be logged in to the basketball room. So let me log Daniel to this basketball room. Basically, I'll just go back, then Daniel, I will bring him to the basketball room, basketball, and let me write this ball as BALL. So if I should join the room, you see everything goes back to lowercase. So hi, this is Daniel from the basketball room. So if you come here, you can see this is Daniel from the basketball room. Chris isn't going to get the message because Chris is not in the basketball room. Okay, and if Chris should send a message from the soccer room, if Chris should send a message from the soccer room, they won't get that message. Okay, they will not get that message. So you see that the chat application is fully functional. Okay, is working properly. The chat application is working properly. This is how you can create your chat app using the Django backend and the React frontend. But in this case, we chose to use Vite because Vite is, like I said, is fast and it has some of these other rich features that have been incorporated to it. So thank you very much for staying till the end. I didn't intend for this tutorial to be long at all. That's why I created a guide to be used to traverse the tutorial. But thank you very much for staying till the end. So far we have learned how to set up Django REST framework and channels. We've learned how to create WebSocket consumers for real-time communication. We've learned how to build a React frontend with a modern design. We styled it using SCSS for a more polished look. We implemented the two-way real-time messaging using React use WebSockets basically. So if you want to build a more advanced application, you can just build on top of these ones that we have built for now. This is the link to this particular guide, and you can feel free to fork the repo for any other um, tutorials that we are having on the channel. So if this tutorial have helped you, consider supporting us by liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and share this project on your socials and tag us as well. So thank you very much for staying to the end. um, See you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.